All right, everybody. It is 4 o'clock. Welcome back to Fun in the Locker Room. Sean, Liam, how we doing? How's everyone doing today?
Good to be back.
Yeah, took a nice break off. Good to be back to the studio and talking about some sports.
Everyone have a good break?
Oh, yeah.
Good. We have a lot to talk about today. We have 2 weeks of football. We have a lot of MLB playoffs, and I think we're all excited that the NBA season starts tomorrow night, so we're going to get into that, hopefully, if we have some time. But today we're going to start the show with takeaways from the last 2 weeks of football. Let's start with Sean.
All right, so my takeaway is the Browns are frauds. They have not been able to put it up together against good football teams. They've played bad against the Chiefs, bad against the Cardinals, and they just don't look like a complete football team. The defense, absolutely abysmal. I know the Cardinals are playing well, but without Cliff Kingsbury as the head coach not calling plays, the Cardinals looked like out of this world, and the Browns just are not a good football team.
All right, I'm going to go with mine is the Cowboys are not only a top 5 team in the NFC, which might not be that much of a hot take, but I think they're a contender to go to the Super Bowl. That game, yes, it's versus the Patriots, who are not the best team, but Dak Prescott, a big believer in Dak Prescott, over 400 yards, just clutch moments when you needed it, that pass to CeeDee Lamb to win the game. I think everything, they have the ability to put up points. Yes, they're giving up a lot of points to not so good offenses, but I think Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, they have a lot of weapons on that offense. I think that's going to be enough to maybe get them a lucky win against the Packers or the Rams or Cardinals. Then if things go their way, maybe a couple, God forbid any injuries, but maybe they can get into the Super Bowl. What about you, Liam?
Hot take. Well, not really a hot take, but Lamar Jackson, he is a top 4 quarterback right now as we speak, and he has absolutely just barreled his way into the MVP conversation.
All right, we'll start the show with that. So elaborate on that.
Who's your top 4 quarterbacks? In order.
You want order?
Yes.
Tom Brady, as much as it pains me to say, he's number 1. I don't think you can dispute that. Then you got the man from Buffalo, from upstate New York, Mr. Josh Allen. He's up there too. Obviously, the Red Hot Cardinals, Kyler Murray led. And then you got Lamar, who just, it seems like every other week, the Ravens do something amazing. And this week was no surprise. I didn't think they were going to do what they did to the Chargers. It was ugly. Not only on the offensive side of the ball, put up 34 points, rushing touchdowns from 3 different running backs. But their defense played amazing too.
And the Ravens did come out and absolutely annihilate the Chargers. The Chargers had 12 total rushes on a team, which shows how behind they were. They had to throw the ball constantly. But Lamar Jackson's stat line this week is 167 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and only 51 rushing yards. So I don't really consider that a top 4 quarterback in the league performance out of him.
What about last week when they were down? What were they down? 19, and he led that spectacular comeback
against the Colts?
Hey, win's a win. What's the Ravens' record right now?
His box score last week, 2 weeks ago, yes, he had an amazing game.
Yes.
He played that really well.
400 passing yards as a running back. That's pretty impressive.
All right, I'm gonna take. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle between you guys. So yes, I agree with Sean. I was gonna echo your point at first and say the stat lines, especially the one this week, it's not. It's not the stats just from face value that says that this is a top 4 quarterback. But, I'm going to also echo Liam's point and read something the Bleacher Report put out the other day and about kind of how Lamar Jackson's just having an absurd series of clutch events week after week with week 2, clutch 4th down, beat Mahomes. I mean, that might have been you could say that was the fumble by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But week 3, game-winning drive in 64 seconds. Week 4, beat the 3-0 Denver Broncos. Now
the 3-0 Denver Broncos.
I don't really believe that carries much value. Week 5, like you were saying, 442 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions with that OT comeback. And then even week 6, you can say, yes, the team blew out the Chargers. It is a team sport, but he is the leader of that team, and he became the winningest QB before the age of 25.
Wow.
So there is a lot there. I'm not gonna and. Rankings aside, he's an amazing quarterback. You could argue that he's having a better, not statistically, but a better MVP season, better season than his MVP season.
I think in terms of impact,
in terms of impact,
how valuable he is to his team. Oh my God!
So I'm not going to pick a side on this. I'm going to let you guys
the
duke it
rest
out.
of his list, like, there's other people that, like, you're forgetting Matthew Stafford, who I think is probably a top 4 quarterback in the league this year.
Wow.
Patrick Mahomes, which we'll get to later, you can't write him out. So I know he has had a shaky start to the season, and a couple turnovers, but he's still the guy I'd probably take to win myself a football game. If I had to win a football game, it's probably him. Maybe Josh Allen. I don't think Lamar Jackson's in the conversation.
No Tom
and Tom
Brady,
yes. But I don't think...
You're proving his point by naming more quarterbacks above Lamar Jackson.
I don't know, dude. Right now, the way Lamar's been playing, is there anybody hotter in the fourth quarter than Lamar Jackson right now? I don't know.
Well, Josh Allen hasn't had to have a fourth quarter.
Yeah,
His team is just annihilating teams.
That's true.
He's doing this.
There is a bit of a quote that's been going around about how people said that they were going to figure out Lamar, and now it seems like Mahomes is the quarterback they figured out, and they haven't really figured out Lamar yet. So take that for what it is.
Well, I guess we can just transition to the Chiefs for a little bit, because I understand the hate from Patrick Mahomes right now, but his team around him is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. His wide receivers are lacking. They're double teaming Tyreek Hill, not allowing the ball to go to him. There's a lot of pressure on Travis Kelce, and he's got no time. He's just running around there trying to make plays. And I understand he's throwing picks, and he's probably some of these picks he'd just be throwing the ball away, not forcing the ball downfield. But he's still probably in my opinion, the quarterback I'd want to, other than Tom Brady, the quarterback I want to lead my team to in a playoff game. Person I trust the most.
Well, before break, we talked about the Chiefs pretty extensively. Truett, I want to go back to you.
Yeah,
are they in trouble though? We talked about this a lot.
I need to say something, and you guys are free to piggyback this if you want. I have to admit that before break I did say hold your horses on the on the panic for the Chiefs. Mahomes is going to bring us around. It's a long season. The season had just started. I think I need to apologize for that take and admit that it is time to panic for the Chiefs, and especially we were talking about their defense, but I think, as Rank brought up, we have to introduce that Mahomes is just not playing as good as before. And there's two. This is from the Bills-Chiefs game, which everyone was really looking forward to this game, rematch of the AFC Championship. And so on one side of the ball, you have the Chiefs just giving up massive plays. I'm not saying it's this one player, but I noticed this defensive back Sorensen gave up two huge plays, one of which went for a touchdown. The other one set them up on the 5-yard line. They're just giving up huge plays, and we know the Bills are capable of generating plays of like 50-plus yards. So obviously it was a bad matchup for them, but to be even giving up plays like that is just a terrible look. And then let's flip to the other side of the ball. Not only does Mahomes, to me, look just less accurate, some of the throws were just not the type of throws we've been seeing. We're used to seeing perfect accuracy and then throwing in shovel passes and whatever. And now it's just he's not even getting accurate on these regular throws. But besides that, the protection, as we mentioned, has looked so much worse than when they won the Super Bowl. Mahomes is statistically on pace for 23 picks on the year, which he's already passed what he had last year, and he's on pace now for 23 interceptions, which would be shocking if he finished anywhere near that. And then before I open up to you guys, there was this quote that Chris Collinsworth said during the broadcast. He said, quote, "This is the night when we look back and say there was a lot of change in the AFC." And I think you guys were kind of it took a while for me to get on this memo, but you guys seemed way ahead of me. It's just the Bills are going to run the AFC now. Maybe the Ravens, but it's definitely not the Chiefs anymore. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, team-wise, you're definitely right. The Chiefs are not the same team that they were a couple years ago, or just even last year in general. This is not a team I picked to win to go to the Super Bowl of the AFC. It's definitely the Bills have passed them. Chris Collins was right. This AFC is now a whole different thing. But the criticism of Patrick Mahomes, I feel like, has gone a little overboard. That he just was so ridiculously good the past couple of years. We became accustomed to him making these ridiculous throws, and he's taken a step back. This team around him's taken a step back, and he's not been able to make these ridiculous throws we've been accustomed to him making, but he's still a top 5 quarterback in this league. Maybe he's gone from being one over everybody else to being 4 or 5, but he's still an amazing quarterback, and he's making these throws that each week you can still look at these throws. He's still making ridiculous throws. He's just not making all the ridiculous throws he used to make. And I don't know, I still have faith in him that he's the quarterback the Chiefs need to build around.
I do agree with that, Sean. I think if you have a player like Mahomes, you need to protect him, especially their offensive line and their run game, which would open up so much. They haven't had that a lot this year. Teams doubling Tyreek Hill, a lot of pressure on Travis Kelce. I mean, you have weapons, But it's tougher when you're under pressure, and guys figured out a game plan. Mahomes have been so good, and that Chiefs offense has been so good for, it seems like, forever now.
Yeah.
They've been running the NFL. Eventually,
past 3 or
teams are
4
going
years
to
now.
figure out. But what's really scary is they have a bad second half. They beat Washington pretty soundly, but they have a bad second half against Washington. They'd be looking at 2-4 right now. If they didn't explode for just, what was it?
31.
Three unanswered touchdowns in the second half. They lose that game. First half they looked terrible too. I guess it's a little shout out to Washington's defense on Sean Taylor's day. I mean, they played well first half, but obviously it's tough when you have a young team like that. But I don't know. That Chiefs defense it hasn't looked good all season. It's looked very shaky, and when you're having trouble protecting or allowing your playmaker to play, you're going to have some issues.
The Chiefs' schedule coming up, though, they're playing the Titans next week. The Titans are not the same team they used to be, so that should be a win. Then they go to play the Giants, and
you never know what can happen with that.
They're going to destroy the Giants. It's going to be a blowout.
Sean,
it's
come
gonna be
on.
ridiculous. It's not even worth watching that football game.
That's a Monday night game, though. There you go.
Yeah, ESPN's getting not a game you want to watch. But then they play the Packers, and they go back to the Raiders, Cowboys. So they've got a little 2 weeks that they can hopefully get right and get to 5-3. But they're going to play some tough teams the rest of the division. Their division's good. They're playing the Raiders again, which Raiders are on and off. You never know how well they're going to play. The Packers, they're going to play the Packers. The Chargers, again, really good team. The Cowboys, the Bengals, who are looking like a good team. They're going to play some tough games down the stretch, but I think they still are good enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah, just to throw a little bit of clarification, Washington has given up the most points this year. So, yes, they played good defense that day, but
played good defense for a half.
Good defense for a half.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs, they should have gone and done that. So I don't think we should halt our criticism or concern just because they
definitely
No.
They play one bad half. They're 2-4.
Yeah, the Chiefs are good enough to beat up against bad teams.
Yes,
there's no doubt in my mind about that. They're gonna finish above 500 because they just beat the teams they're supposed to do. That's all you have to do.
Too much star power.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch back over to the NFC, and I'm going to let you guys go first on this. But we have an injury to a quarterback that kind of is going to rock the landscape of the NFC West, or maybe it wouldn't. Maybe in theory the Seahawks would only finish third in the division anyways, and maybe that'll still happen with this Russell Wilson injury. Supposed to be out till Week 10. They have 3 games left in that stretch. They just took a loss to the Steelers last night. They're playing the Jags, Packers, and the Saints. From what you guys saw last night and predictions, what are our thoughts here?
I think this is. I hate. True. I don't know how you feel about this, but if I'm in the Seahawks position, you lose these next couple of games, you're looking at a full tank. You could get a good draft pick, get one more weapon for Russell Wilson, get him a running back or something in the draft. One more weapon. Come back next year. You got DK, Lockett, Russell Wilson. You got another guy in the mix, But I just don't think they're not going to win their division this year. They're not going. I don't think they're going to sniff the playoffs. It's just they play too many tough teams, and especially with Russell Wilson out, they're not going to win. Against the Jags, they'll win that game. Packers, Saints with Geno Smith at quarterback. It's not looking too hot.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
Is Geno Smith the answer? Like, should they go out and sign a Cam Newton out there? That's the thought I was watching this game. Like, is Geno Smith enough to keep the Seahawks interesting and in the playoff race, or should they go out and sign a Cam Newton?
I mean, okay.
He led them back.
He was one fumble away from possibly winning the game in OT.
And that was a TJ Watt.
That was just an absurd play by an absurd player. TJ Watt, one of the best defensive players there are right now.
It's gonna be top 2.
Top 2, maybe 1.
Yeah.
If you're an Aaron Donald fan, that makes sense. So my reaction to the game, and okay, I'm going to agree with you and kind of disagree with you on adding another weapon, because they said last night during the show that there's no other team in the league who has so many percentage of their targets going to 2 players, and that's DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I believe they're both around 25-29% of the throws are going to those 2 people. So that's around 60% of Russell Wilson's throws are going to 2 receivers, which is absurd, and no other team's doing that for 2 players. So in one sense, yes, the offense is built around getting the ball to those two players, no matter who's at quarterback, even though Russell Wilson is the franchise quarterback. So I agree with you in the sense that adding another guy would take pressure off. But, in years past, that formula's kind of worked, showing unless, you're going up against a team like the Rams that shut down Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. But Tyler Lockett's a good number 2 option on that team. Now, I'd much rather have, if they're going to tank for a pick, which I think they should, because they're 2-4 now.
You want them to tank?
If they lose,
pick.
if they go 2-7, I mean, maybe
do they have their pick? They don't have their pick. Jamal Adams.
I think it was the
Jamal
last.
Adams.
Oh, really?
This is
It's
the Jets
either
pick.
It was either last year was the second year or this year is the second year.
This is the second year. This is the Jets pick.
No, dude.
You have no reason to tank.
So there's no.
I guess.
Okay.
So they just stick to mediocrity then? Because they're not going to make the playoffs.
They can make the playoffs.
You think they can make the playoffs? The Seahawks
Now Geno
right
Smith,
now?
but I think they could sign Cam Newton and get a better
See, the
quarterback
thing
in
is,
there.
I don't think. What you sign Cam Newton and then Russell Wilson comes back after week 10. What do you do with Cam Newton?
He plays your backup.
No, you got to go back to Geno Smith as your
Why?
backup. Because I think Geno Smith is a reliable, not reliable. He's an adequate game manager. I think he did an okay job last night for the position he's in. It was kind of a running back by committee. I'm really happy with what I saw out of Alex Collins. He spams the spin button sometimes, but it works. He had 100 yards rushing and a touchdown and everything. The run game looked great against a really good Steelers defense.
And Alex Collins played well.
Yeah, Alex Collins played very well. Now, I'd much rather see a draft pick go towards the O-line, which has been an issue forever and doesn't need to be talked about anymore, or the defense, because I'm tired of seeing Jamal Adams play terribly.
Oh, my God.
I think we all saw him run in. I don't know why he was running in. Honestly, if I'm looking at this logically, I don't think he was running in to get the ball. I think he was just running in, and the ball just hit him in the face.
He didn't see it. It hit him right in the helmet.
Yeah, that would have prevented the field goal that put them up 3, and then we had to tie it to go to OT. Maybe we win that game.
But there was 2 other plays in the game where he hit his own teammate while they were playing coverage, and then he lined up as a defensive end in one play. Jamal Adams is not a defensive end. The Seahawks don't know how to use this guy. He's not playing well, and the fact that his intro to the game.
Oh,
we go with that.
I didn't like that.
That was laughable. Yes. Now, okay, I don't
the
think
best of the nation. Come on now.
I'm not trying to defend the Seahawks coaching stuff, but I honestly, from watching most of every Seahawk game since Jamal Adams was traded there, he is abysmal in coverage. I don't know what happened from when he was traded to the Jets. I mean, I just remember there was a huge play in the Rams playoff game last year when they played them in the first round. Jamal Adams just got burned by Cooper Kupp. It's embarrassing how much how bad he is in coverage, and it's happened this year, and it's going to happen again. I remember last year when he broke the record for most sacks as a defensive back, and I'm thinking to myself, great. Why does that matter? You're a defensive back. We get killed in coverage every year by amazing quarterbacks that put up almost 40 points and 400 yards on us. So why do I care that you got 5 sacks on the year as a DB?
He's a linebacker.
Well,
he's a linebacker.
That's what he is now.
Here's the thing: with a defense that has other weapons around him, it would be great. You look at Tavon Diggs having a historical season. He's on pace to give up the most yards as a defensive back right
Really?
now. Yes. But he's on pace to give up the most yards ever as a defensive back.
He's got at least 1 pick in each game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that Cowboys defense allows him to do that. You look at the Seahawks defense. I mean, they got Bobby Wagner.
But Bobby Wagner doesn't really play in coverage that much.
Who else do they have in coverage that can step up, allow Jamal to play?
I like Quandre Diggs, but that's it.
Yeah.
Do they have Shaquille Griffin anymore?
He's on the Jaguars now.
They don't allow him to play make. He's a playmaker. I like Jamal Adams, but you can't be playing that way if you got to cover for other guys that just aren't good enough.
He's the final piece of a good defense.
Yes.
And that he can just go there and just ball hawk and
play
run around. But having to actually do coverage and play actual safety.
Exactly.
It's exactly what Liam was saying.
All right, I agree with that. It'll be interesting to see the trajectory of the season. Hopefully Russell Wilson recovers from that mallet finger all right. Prayers up to Darrell Taylor, who was having a great game and then had to be carted off. Didn't look good at all. but we're going to cut to a quick PSA before we get back to a little bit more football, and then we'll round out the show with MLB and maybe some NBA. So the Villanova Tech Zone is a free resource for helping students, faculty, and staff troubleshoot their technological needs. Contact us at 610-519-7777. Chat with us online or visit our law school, Falvey Library, or New Commons offices. For more information, visit unit.villanova.edu. All right, Chargers or Raiders? Who do we want to hit first?
Chargers.
What do you got, Sean?
Well, the Chargers are the most unpredictable team. One of the most unpredictable teams I've ever seen in the NFL. Because right before we went to break, Liam was talking about how their offense actually has not put up a lot of points and that their yards were not great. Then they go into Cleveland and drop 49 points against the Cleveland Browns defense, which before these past 2 weeks, I personally thought was a pretty good defense, but they did so well against the Browns. I was sitting here saying, "Oh my God, Liam was wrong." Like Justin Herbert's a real thing. Like the Chargers' offense is good.
That wasn't my take. I was just saying.
Yeah.
I still think the Chargers have a great offense. It's just they weren't putting up points.
But then they
went off.
But then they played the Ravens this week, and they scored 6 points. Justin Herbert had 195 passing yards, and they had 12 rushing attempts. And no offense can sustain 12 rushing attempts. Like, I was thinking maybe they got down early, but they only gave up one touchdown in the first quarter. Like, where's their ability to rush the ball? They got half Austin Eckler there.
Yeah,
like,
when you have a guy like Eckler, you need to run the ball. He's so good. It didn't make any sense. And you're right. They didn't get down early. They didn't need to just force it. And on the other side of that, too, they have weapons to throw to. I don't know.
I don't understand this offense. You have any more clarification for this, Truett? Because I'm baffled.
No, I'm as baffled as you. I have in my notes for the show that because we missed 2 weeks, so the first week I was ready to talk about their offensive explosion, and now it was a nightmare game versus the Ravens, who they're a good defense. Yes, they lost Marcus Peters for the year, but it's still a good defense. I don't know. Justin Herbert's still young. It's looking like he's going to be a great quarterback. I think there's going to be a point in his career where he's top 5, maybe top 3 in the league. As far as quarterbacks go, he's just looking like he might go that way. I don't know. I'm as baffled as you guys are.
Is it play calling? Because you look at the stat line. Justin Herbert completed almost 60% of his passes for 195 yards. He led the team in rushing yards with 12 rushing yards.
Very odd.
Is it a play calling issue? Like, are they just not running a correct sequence of plays? Like, I don't understand what they did wrong here.
And just imploded on them, too. When did they get down big?
In the second quarter.
Oh, so the game was over. Then they just force it, I guess.
Second quarter, they gave up. They were down 17-0 midway through the second quarter. And then they scored a touchdown. They went to halftime 17-6 because they missed extra
Which
points.
is not,
it's not a terrible halftime score.
You can come back. You have weapons around you.
But then just
very odd. Yeah.
Luckily, I feel like the Chargers, I don't want to say they're playing with house money, but they have a little bit of slack to figure things out. The Broncos, we can kind of talk about later, are a bit they're frauds at this point. 3-3 now after going 3-0. The Chiefs, which we've kind of come to the conclusion, are not going to get things together, and so it's really them and the Raiders have fallen off too. So they have a little bit of leeway. They're still leading the division. They'll probably end up leading the division at the end of the year, get that division title, which obviously is going to help them in the playoffs. So I think they have a little bit of leeway to figure it out. This isn't a good sign, but
I wouldn't trust in the playoffs. You never know what you're going to get. You could get a lot of offense. You could get nothing.
That's true.
Dropped 49 points or 6.
And their special teams. They missed another extra point. I know Liam's harped on the fact that the Chargers are the only team. You might give us that.
Give us that.
Only team in NFL history to miss the playoffs. They had the best defense and the best offense one year. Worst special teams didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, it's very important.
What year was that?
Like 2009-ish, 2009-ish, 2010.
Yeah. And it's occurring, like their special teams. They gave up this extra point. I know it didn't matter in the course of the game.
Special teams these past 2 weeks have been
awful.
Horrendous. That Bengals-Packers game, oh my God. It was laughable, but that's a whole different story. Chargers need to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Sticking in the division, what about the Raiders? I don't think we want to stay on the Raiders, who went 0-2 after going 3-0. So it looked like I was ready to kind of say, okay, they're falling out of their swing, but then they turn it around against the Broncos, who are the Broncos. What do you think?
It turns you around to an extent. Like I was watching Red Zone of that game, and they got up big, but then they let the Broncos come back into this game. The game ended 34-24, and the Broncos recovered an onside kick towards the end of the game. Like the Broncos had a chance to make this even closer. So maybe it's the lack of discipline, maybe the John Gruden situation, which I don't think we want to get fully into, but like losing your coach, like maybe the lack of discipline towards the end of the game. But they did play well overall. Derek Carr and Henry Ruggs had big connections downfield. Like they're letting the ball, airing it down, which is how the Raiders play offensively when they're at their best.
I think this was based on the circumstances, I want to say this was an impressive game from the Raiders. Losing their coach, a huge amount of scrutiny going on. Who knows what's going on in their locker room? Probably very divided right now. They came out, they won, beat a division rival too. Put up 34 points in the process. Derek Carr had another good game. 350 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, Raiders right now, 4-2. Who knows what could happen? They just keep riding a little hot streak, get hot. Chiefs could be in trouble. That division, I don't know.
It's an exciting division.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's going to be a good division. I hope it comes close down to the wire.
It will, and I would personally think that the Chiefs are probably over the Raiders.
I hope it motivates the Chiefs a little bit.
If I were to think who's coming out of the division, I think it's going to be the Chargers, and I think it's the Chiefs, and maybe the Raiders sneak in as another wild card spot. But I would probably still pick the Chiefs to be over the Raiders after what we've seen over the past couple weeks from the Raiders.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of struggling with whether I think it was more of the Raiders winning this game or the Broncos losing this game, because the Raiders, as you guys have mentioned, played well. And, there's a stat. They had 0 turnovers and 4 takeaways. Now, what does that say more about for either team? Is it the fact that Teddy Bridgewater had 3 picks and a fumble? Or is it that the Raiders' defense is actually good enough to match their offense, and now they're a well-rounded football team? I don't really know. I have to see some more, but that's just
I think it's impressive that the Raiders didn't turn over the ball over at all. Mm-hmm. Like, Derek Carr on offense, the Broncos are a good defense. Or they still got Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. They got a good pass rush, so it's impressive by the Raiders not turning the ball over.
Yeah. All right, let's cover the Cowboys briefly, and then our picks, and then we'll go to break. Cowboys.
So I have a very this has made me mad the past couple of weeks watching the Cowboys. I know the love Trevon Diggs is getting for Defensive Player of the Year, and congrats, he's got 7 interceptions, which is a large number. And congrats, you have hands, you can catch a ball that's thrown at you. But defensively, he is not that good in coverage.
No, he's horrible.
He gave up 189 receiving yards to Kadarius Toney. On the second play after he got the pick last night, he gave up a huge pass play that ended up in a touchdown. People are overhyping him, overrating him. He is not a good cover corner. He can catch the ball, so when the ball bobbles off the receiver's hands and falls into his laps, and many defensive players just drop the ball, he can actually catch it, which is great. It's a guy you need. It's important. But I don't think he deserves anywhere near the hype he's getting for his Player of the Year. The people that are saying he should win MVP, come on. I saw rumors. People are talking about that. That's just ridiculous to me.
Well, he's very good at doing one thing, and that's ball. He's a ball hawk.
Yes.
He's very good at that. And he can play that way in the Cowboys' defense. However, in coverage, he's terrible.
I think he can. I think in his future he'll transition to a safety, and I feel like he'd be better off as a safety.
Oh, definitely. Just playing center field.
Yes, finding the ball and catching it.
But I mean, Depoy, just based off of pure numbers, possible MVP. That is.
Depoy just on interceptions. He's receiving yards.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's given up the third most receiving yards,
and he's on pace to give up the most.
Yes,
but people are going to see that interception number and be like,
that's my problem with it all.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't deserve the praise.
I agree with you. Yeah.
But I mean, back to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
played a great game. I got to give credit to Dak. I'm
not some love.
I'm not a Dak lover, but I will give credit to him. That was a beautiful throw, just to end the game right to CD.
Dak's stat line: 445 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Like, he's a good quarterback, as much as it pains me to admit it. And the Cowboys are a good team. They're dangerous.
I want to give credit to Mac Jones though for that bomb he had. That was
Mac Jones played well.
It was a great game. Great game.
It was probably one of the better games I've seen in a while, and it was very entertaining right down to the last 3 minutes. Had like 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So
yeah, it was
very exciting.
Great Sunday of football. Now tonight we have an exciting game, right? Let's hear our picks. So let's update the records. I think Sean is flaming hot on his picks, 4-1 on Monday Night Football picks. So a little applause, mini applause to Sean.
Thank you.
Liam is having opposite.
My picks have not been good.
1-4, maybe a little rough stretch for him. I'm kind of middling out at 2-3. I can't say I'm doing too well. But I've also been trying to pick bold, so we'll see tonight. We'll start with you, Sean, the leader in the category. What are your thoughts? 5.5 for the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills are going to absolutely cover this completely. The Bills are the better team. The Titans have not played well. It's in Buffalo. Tables will be broken before and after this game as the Bills Mafia goes crazy. And the Bills win big. Over 10 points is the margin. It's going to be a stampede, and the Bills are going to show why they're the best team in football.
Best team in football.
Best team in the AFC.
Okay.
Maybe not in football, but definitely the best team in the AFC.
I think you could argue that. Bills
Yeah.
are the best team in football.
What about you, Liam? It's kind of you and me against Sean
I want to
here.
hear your take
Me?
first, Truett.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of me doesn't. I can't pick the same as Sean because if we both get it right, it's not going to help any of us. But I'm going to go with the Bills. I thought I'm conflicted because last week or 2 weeks ago with the no, it was last week with the Ravens Colts. It was 7, I want to say.
Yeah.
Thought it was a trap. No, I thought it was looking like a trap game, but I still chose the Ravens. Colts had a huge lead. It's still covered. This looks like a trap to me. I'm still going to go Bills. I have to just go with the better team. The Titans haven't figured it out. The Bills defense is they're going to have their way with Ryan Tannehill. So what about you, Liam?
Yeah, I mean, I really think the Bills are just going to blow them out tonight. However, to make up some ground, 1-5 or 1-4 is my picks. Doesn't really matter. So I'll pick Tennessee to cover. Why not?
All right.
And Twitter,
You got nothing
for a
to
Twitter
lose.
poll out there, the Bills were the consensus pick on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
What percentage was it?
78%.
That doesn't surprise me.
All right.
Who knows? Derrick Henry could have 400 yards tonight. Who knows?
All right, also aside, real
That's
quick.
true.
Derrick Henry, I saw the stat, is actually on pace to set the record for most rushing attempts in an NFL season
Wow.
by a lot.
Really?
Like a large number.
Wow.
So it's definitely concerned about if he can have it off in the tank, which I guess the
Yeah.
Titans don't have to worry about because they're probably not a playoff team at this point. But in the going forward, like it's a little concerning how amount of rushing attempts he's getting.
Oh, I agree. Tannehill and that wide receiving core has been so underwhelming.
Do we have
this year.
updates on those wide receiver injuries?
Julio should be back.
Julio's back. A.J. Brown's questionable with a
Just like-
illness, according to our insider Will McKeon.
Inside Will McKeon. All right, shout out Will McKeon. We will cut to a quick commercial and then come back for some MLB playoffs.
Now, a Villanova Campus Minute. During Move-In Week, WXVU spoke with Tom DeMarco, the Associate Vice President for Student Life and the Dean of Students, about ongoing efforts to make the university environment more inclusive.
This past year, we formed a Student Life Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee that included representatives from all student life departments. We want to focus on both student and our student life staff so that we can create an atmosphere that is more inclusive. You know, our mission calls upon us to the university mission calls upon us to develop the whole person, but also to do that in a community where mutual love and respect animates all aspects of that community.
WXVU will be giving away a pair of tickets to Halloween nights at the Eastern State Penitentiary on the Radio FX app. Download the app, favorite WXVU, and sign up for the contest. We'll pick a winner this Friday at 4 p.m. Halloween nights run select nights now through November 13th at Eastern State. This brand new experience transforms a 10-acre web of winding hallways and courtyards into a sprawling festival featuring haunted houses, historic tours, immersive walkthroughs, themed bars, and more. For more information, log on to HalloweenNights.org.
All right, right before MLB baseball, we got to give some love to the only undefeated team left. Consensus best team in the NFC, maybe the best team in the NFL, Arizona Cardinals. What do you guys have to say?
Well, they put it together. A lot of people were concerned with Cliff Kingsbury out with COVID that the Cardinals would not put together a game like they've been doing so far this year, but they came out there and absolutely torched the Browns, which is a very impressive performance, and they're just continuing to prove the doubters wrong.
Mm-hmm. Defense has been incredible. D-Hop is having quite amazing season. They're on fire. I don't know on both sides of the ball if I take them over the Bills. I think that's either way it could go, but just so impressive. 6-0 incredible.
Yeah, you got some versatile. Well, just comparing them to the Bills, you got a versatile quarterback on both offenses. But with the Cardinals, I mean, you have D-Hop, who people talk about Devontae Adams, but you got to give D-Hop love. He's minimal top 3. AJ Green's doing his thing. Chase Edmonds is doing his thing. Defense is just coming together. You got great pieces on defense. I don't see. I mean, I thought the Browns were going to give him a test, but clearly not. I mean, they could go very close to undefeated. It's scary. Kyler Murray is just really playing in his own. My pick for MVP. I don't know if that's consensus with you guys, but that's not much to say about that. They're just
they're
firing on all
fire.
cylinders right there.
They are on fire.
All right, so we have 2 long weeks to cover of MLB playoffs. I know you guys are excited. I've been watching too. I'm a little excited, but I'm going to give you guys the stage for what is going on right now with the remaining playoffs.
Yeah, so last time we talked, it was before the wild card games, correct?
Yes, so before any of these wild card games happened, which there's been a lot of baseball, a lot of amazing, exciting baseball over the past
Oh my
couple
God,
weeks.
the playoffs have been incredible. Just to recap, Dodgers have beaten the Cardinals in the wild card game, beat the Giants
On a very questionable call.
Yeah, very questionable call.
I don't think that should. It was a tough series.
Yes, it was a great series. San Francisco's pitching was unbelievable the whole time. When in the games they won, unbelievable. And to end the game on a check swing,
And the series on a check swing. How's that unreviewable?
I don't even want to get into that. MLB has issues. They've had issues with umpires this entire playoffs.
Yes.
They've been horrendous. Balls and strikes, stuff like that. It's not the whole Boston fiasco that happened against Tampa Bay. That was something else too. But the umpires need to be better. Anyway, so Dodgers win that series. They're currently down 2-0 to the Atlanta Braves, who going into the playoffs had a 1.2% chance to make the World Series. Now looking like they're going to be the first team to make it.
No, I guess you could say that, but I wouldn't count the Dodgers out.
Oh
yet.
no, definitely not. But my God, it pains me to say this, Sean, and I'm sure you agree. As Mets fans, the Braves are electric. They're awesome. They're fun to watch. Their pitching out of nowhere has just been incredible and timely hitting. However, Dodgers lost 2 games on 2 major mistakes. Game 1 on Chris Taylor's base running error, and then last night, I don't know how Corey Seager doesn't stop that ball. You got to put your
Anything.
You got to put your face on the line for that. Take it, just knock it down. You cannot let that go by you. But the Braves found, after whooping up on the Brewers in a great series as well, found themselves up 2 games on the Dodgers. Be very interesting how the Dodgers come back from
It will
this.
be an interesting series. We can get back to it in a little bit, but just continuing the recap, I guess the AL, the Red Sox-Yankees series, Red Sox-Yankee game, which was electric, a lot of fun to watch, and the Yankees are out. Not just a surprise. Still waiting to see if they're going to fire a manager or any other changes the Yankees are going to do in the offseason. But the Red Sox went on and beat the Rays. Very impressive win. Crazy series. They just played like the better team, which is surprising that the Rays lost that series, considering how dominant the Rays have been in the playoffs for the past couple of years. And the Astros went into Chicago and
They took care of business.
They didn't even celebrate. They acted like they've been there before, which they have, but they're really trying to prove the doubters wrong of why they were good enough even without the cheating scandal. So, setting up a fun Red Sox-Astros postseason.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, do we think the Red Sox could go all the way and win the World Series? Like, could we have another wild card team in the playoffs?
Never know. I think right now, you got 2 wild card teams. Well, okay. Last game, anyway. We'll talk about last game. Offensive explosion for the Sox.
Yes.
2 grand slams in back-to-back innings. It was incredible, and it's tough not to root for them.
It's really, if you look at both sides of the playoffs, it is 2 teams that are wildcard teams.
Oh, yeah.
And we've talked about it before, but 2 wildcard teams easily could be the 2 teams in the World Series again.
One the favorite, I guess, and the other just out of nowhere. But the Red Sox have just been unbelievable. Timely hitting. Their main man, Kike Hernandez, he is on another planet right now. Red hot. They got guys up and down the lineup that can get hits, keep the line moving, and their pitching, especially their bullpen, has been unbelievable. That's how they won the series against the Rays. It's been incredible.
Yeah, and the Rays have been a team that over the past couple of years have been the team to put it together in the playoffs. Like it's because in regular season it's all about the analytics and they're all about like just home runs, and over the course of the season that works out well.
Yes.
But in the playoffs you play a lot of small ball,
because
which I absolutely love.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. You just get the runner across. Like last night in the Dodgers-Braves game, I'm trying to think. I think it was the Braves who bunted the guy, tried to bunt. They took Darno out. They bring in a pinch runner, which doesn't happen in the regular season.
Yep.
They tried to bunt him across the second. Didn't work out, of course. But just I love that ability to just move the guy along, move him closer to home plate, and just play baseball like that.
Or the Dodgers against the Giants throwing Mad Max out there to go for the save.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Guys will put it all on the line. I mean, anything can happen in playoff baseball. Your starter goes out, gives you 7 great innings, you're up big lead, you can be gone in an instant. You saw that Boston and Tampa Bay, it seemed like both teams would jump out to huge leads and 2 innings later it'd be tied game.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. The pitching has been up and down over the course of the season. A lot of guys getting pulled in like the third inning. Like it's
short leaches,
a lot of short leashes,
huge bullpen usage. It's incredible.
Can it be maintained? Like, are these guys going to be able to stand up over the? Because these games are occurring back to back.
Yeah.
You're not getting a lot of breaks in these games.
And what they're trying to do is close out the series as soon as possible. Braves up 2-0 right now. If they close out this series, have a lot of rest. On the flip side, though, Dodgers come back and win. They're not going to have a lot of rest. And I want to say going into the NL and ALCS, the Dodgers would have to be the favorite.
Yes.
Right now, they're in the worst position out of everybody. It's going to be very interesting to see how they come back.
The way the MLB playoffs work, which I personally don't agree with, but the fact that it's 2 games at home and then 3 games at home and 2, like the Dodgers are not going home for a 3-game thing. If they win all 3, they're back 3-2, and we're going back to Atlanta with them being the favorites again.
I think they need to change that.
Yes, I completely agree. I was talking to Truett about this before the show. I know Truett doesn't.
Because it was, what was it? It was 2-1-1.
1-1. That's how hot as the NBA does it. But for some reason, baseball doesn't do it like that.
And home field advantage, especially now with fans, it is just out of this world. You could see the atmosphere the Braves and the Red Sox have at home.
So, as somebody whose team, the Yankees, are out of the MLB playoffs at this point, if I were to choose a new team to support, what team would you guys recommend I support, and is most likely to satisfy me throughout the rest of the playoffs?
Well, Patrick, I would probably think that if you want a team to support, it's probably the Red Sox. I want to say the Dodgers, but the Dodgers are not playing well and down 2 on the series. So, as the front-running fan I know you are, the Red Sox are probably the team you'd want to support.
I don't know, Sean. I think I might go with the Braves. I'd say biggest underdog story in the playoffs so far. They're
bigger than the Red Sox?
Yes. Yeah, just because they had to play the Brewers. I don't know. I mean, both teams, nobody expected them to win. Braves had the lowest chance to make the World Series out of both teams, but...
Keep in mind, I'm a Yankees fan, usually.
Yes.
I can't just switch on them like that and support the Red Sox. So would you recommend Dodgers or Braves?
I would go Braves.
Who would you guys see holding up that trophy at the end of the year?
I would love it for the Dodgers, because as a Mets fan, I hate the Braves, Pat, but I would probably say the Braves are the team you'd want to support because they're up 2-0 in the series.
Yes, and they're just fun. They're a fun team.
Okay, thank you for your advice. I'll go buy my jersey.
Okay.
Take care, Colin. Thank you.
Yankees bandwagon fan
Yankees
right there.
bandwagon calling in. Look at that.
That's not surprising. Not surprising for a Yankees fan. What?
All right, we're going to go quick PSA before we get into maybe some more MLB and hopefully some NBA talk. So, do you have a voice for the radio? Do you need to get your hands on video gear or audio gear? Does journalism or writing interest you? How about photography and capturing memories? Villanova's media organizations are open to all majors and include WXVU 89.1, VTV, Tech Crew, the Villanovan, and the Bel Air Yearbook. Come hang out with an awesome group of creative students and find your home in Villanova's media program. Stop by Dougherty 102 to learn more. brought to you by the Office of Student Involvement Student Media Programs. All right, gentlemen, anything more we got to say on MLB?
Do we have any more callers, or is that?
I guess Will. So Will hasn't been able to call in, but a couple of his notes, he was talking about how Nathan Eovaldi is probably the difference maker in the Red Sox bullpen, because the Red Sox bullpen has played very well in postseason so far. I think it's proving how important a bullpen is.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just how many arms you have. Red Sox have that other guy, Pivetta, Whitlock. They got guys that can just come out and chuck, and they've been electric so far. They've really carried them, especially against a lot of usage against the Rays, and they held up.
Yeah, and just I know Liam briefly talked about Kike Hernandez earlier in the show, but 9 extra base hits through 7 games, 5 homers. He's batting .500 with 5 homers, 4 doubles, 9 RBIs, 9 runs, and over a 500% on base percentage. That's just a ridiculous stat line he's putting up so far in this postseason.
It seems like every time he goes up the bat, he does something.
Yeah.
He either moves a runner over or gets an extra base hit, puts himself on base. Really, really awesome to watch.
And that's simply all it takes in a playoff game.
Oh,
in a postseason, if you get hot at the right time, it's all you need. The Mets have showed it, the Nationals have showed it, and the Red Sox are showing it right now.
It's tough not to root for him, too.
Yeah, I agree. So, I guess transitioning before we talked about basketball, would you guys like the first trivia question of the day?
Let's hear it.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm ready.
so first trivia question is an NFL question. What NFL team has never moved or changed their name?
Patriots.
It's only
No.
one?
No.
Only one team has never moved location or changed
Oh,
their
you
name.
know what? Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a historic team, right? One of the first.
They're the oldest team.
Yeah.
What-
Iconic.
What was the Chicago Bears before they were...
I don't know. That's the one I thought about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say Packers or Bears, right? That would have to be.
I don't know. I will. That is interesting. The Chicago Bears do seem like a team that I don't think would have moved around beforehand. But they used to be the Decatur Staleys, and then they became the Chicago Staleys. They became the. Okay, to be fair, in 1920 they were founded as the Decatur Staleys. I'm not sure what that is. And then 1921 became the Chicago Staleys, and then 1922 became the Chicago Bears. So they weren't
Interesting.
many other teams for that long.
Yeah.
All right, great transition. We're talking about the Green Bay Packers. Let's talk about the other team in that area, the Milwaukee Bucks. I know we've all seen Giannis's improved jumper and his form, and what do we think about that? And what could that mean for the rest of the league if you see Giannis? I mean, there was one preseason game he pulled up from 3, very first possession, splashed it.
Against the Mavericks, yeah.
What do we think about that?
Giannis with a jumper. I bet all Sixers fans are wishing Ben Simmons could do that right now.
Oh, wow.
Like, he's proven it every offseason. As much as I'm personally not a Giannis fan, I don't like Giannis. I'm very opinionated, very polarized when it comes to basketball. But Giannis has done the most you could ask of. Every offseason he goes there, he puts on weight, he puts on muscle, he puts on new skills. He comes back every year just a better version of himself, and you just got to applaud it.
I saw his resume today. Just if he retires tomorrow, Hall of Famer, no doubt. But the fact that he's got a jump shot now, defending champions, league's got to be on watch. And I know a lot of people are already saying, regardless of if Kyrie Irving comes back, Nets are going to win the whole thing. East has got to watch out. Bucks are still going to be good, and if Giannis has a jumper, man, he could put himself as the best player in the world right now.
And I want to see it in an actual game where it matters and like they're actually defending him. So I guess tomorrow night against the Nets will be a good chance for him to show that. But it's promising.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very promising. It's scary, like you guys have been saying. If you look at those old Giannis videos, his form looked very different from what it looked like the last 5-6 years. I don't know what that is, gaining weight. Maybe, the coaches have told him to change it, but it was kind of disappointing to see that his jumper, like, for the last 4 years that he's been playing at an MVP level, was, like, very odd and, just didn't look correct mechanically. And now, like, you can tell the form has changed a little bit. He's taking fadeaways, he's pulling up, and it looks so much better mechanically. And like you said, Sean, that says a lot to Giannis's character and his motivation and his work ethic, a la Kobe Bryant. I know, Kobe Bryant's always inspiring players to do better and greater things. And like you said, he's just gotten better each and every year, won most improved, which, kind of says a lot about that. But
and one of the things I respect most about Giannis is the fact that in an NBA nowadays where all the players are buddy-buddy and always like, oh, after the game, it's the handshakes, jersey swaps. Giannis has always positioned himself as, I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to go in the offseason. I'm going to work in a gym. I'm going to be the best version of myself. I don't care what the other guys and other teams. Like, you do your thing, you be friends with you. I'm just focused on being the best version of myself and bringing championships to Milwaukee, which you have to respect.
He's got that killer instinct.
Yeah. He's literally probably the closest player we have to Kobe Bryant now.
In terms of mentality. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. Which, this follow-up question. We have 2 games tomorrow. Let's get some predictions going. We'll start with that game. No Kyrie, so that's the headliner of the game.
Yeah, and the NBA regular season is just such a...
Yeah.
It's such a...
It's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
But we can still be excited for opening
Yes,
night,
we're
of course,
excited for opening night. And if everybody's playing, which I think as of right now, everybody's healthy and playing, it's the first time the Nets have been healthy in a while. I understand Kyrie's not playing. I don't think Kyrie's going to play at all this year. It's going to be a Kyrie-less Nets team. But I think the Nets win. I think the Nets are going to come out there. They're going to prove... They're going to be a little determined to prove that we don't need Kyrie. Like, he's not necessarily... Like, he can go do this thing, which... Oh, my God. Kyrie's just... As a New Yorker, Kyrie's annoying me. He's saying great things about how... It's just a quick aside about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving saying that... There's rumors coming out that Kyrie Irving's not getting the vaccine because he wants to be the voice for the voiceless. It's this thing of the people that are losing their jobs because of the COVID vaccines. But he's not actually, like... being a voice. Like, he's had the opportunity to go out and like talk about the issue, but we're just getting this through sources. Like, is that how you're the voice for the voiceless? You're not using your voice. Like, as a side, he's not going to play this year. Probably not at all. So I would probably pick the Nets over the Bucks in the opening night.
I'm gonna go Bucks just because defending champs. I mean, anything can happen. It's a regular season NBA game. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean much to both teams who are probably going to finish 1 and 2 in the East, I think. It's going to be exciting to see a healthy KD and a healthy Harden next to each other. That offense, oh my God. It's just, you pass the ball between those guys, they can give you a bucket every possession. Wonder who Giannis is going to guard. Probably KD, right?
Probably KD.
Yeah.
It's
Although,
gonna be a great
Drew
game.
the series,
Drew
they
Holiday.
put PJ Tucker on him in that series.
Yeah.
And everyone was giving Giannis, criticism for that, but hopefully he guards.
I mean,
PJ
Giannis
Tucker
went out and
anymore.
won that series and
Yeah.
won the chip, so.
Or Kevin Durant's oversized shoe lost him.
Yes, that's true.
I'm gonna agree with you and say the Bucks. I think the Nets, outside of their big 3, they still have a lot of pieces they brought in that have to gel together. And without Kyrie, I don't think they're going to be flowing as much as they would on offense. And then Nets defensively are just leagues better. I want to pose a follow-up question. There was this brief headline going around about whether, because if Kyrie's not playing a whole year, they're saying like a Sixers for Kyrie trade because, on one hand, Ben Simmons is better than no Kyrie, but at the same time, if you're the Sixers, why would I not just leave Kyrie on the Nets and not play, which weakens them so much more? You know what I mean? By not trading, by keeping Ben Simmons and not taking Kyrie, it's kind of like, okay, Nets, you deal with your own internal problem that's going to make you much worse instead of us giving you Ben Simmons, which is going to make your situation, bare minimum a lot better. You know what I mean?
So I guess you could look at it that way, but it's I personally believe it's wrong as a organization to look at how it's going to impact the other team. So, but I guess speaking for the trade itself, Kyrie, the reason the Sixers would do this trade is that Kyrie Irving's got 1 year left on his contract and he's gone. Mm-hmm. So you can deal with the headache for a year and then he's gone. Ben Simmons got 3 or 4 more years on his contract and you have 3 or 4 more years to this problem. This problem's not going away. This is an easy, quick, if the Nets would do it, which there has been reports out there that KD would sign off on a Kyrie Irving trade, that I think if the Nets and the Sixers, it makes sense for both sides.
I agree with that. Nets definitely in a better position than the Sixers are in now. Sixers, I mean, they're not making it out of the East. I think it's fair to say it's going to be Bucks or Nets. I mean, what do you have to lose from just letting Ben Simmons go to the Sixers, taking Kyrie, and I don't know, maybe you got to go out and get someone else next year. Get a free agent, go for Dame. They got to do something. But with Ben Simmons right now, they're not going to win. So
And Kyrie
what's
could
the
play in
point?
Philly.
Kyrie could play in
He can
Philly.
play.
Yeah.
There's no restrictions on him there.
Yeah, from a pure basketball standpoint, that you kind of just have to work within the political regulations that you have and just focus on basketball. And okay, well, this is the matter of the fact, so let's just do what we have. I have another question, and I'm going to take off my Thunder fan hat and my Russ fan hat when I say this. I saw a take the other day that KD choosing to leave Russ for Steph was the best decision for him. KD choosing to leave Steph for Kyrie was the worst decision for him. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Like, if I was KD, I would be so mad. Like, KD, the reason KD came to Brooklyn was because Kyrie wanted to go to Brooklyn. KD, there's rumors he wanted to go to the Knicks. So, KD went to the Nets, thought he'd be teaming with Kyrie, and Kyrie has missed so many more games than he's actually played for them. Like, it's a ridiculous number. They're paying him so much for doing so little, and they've already said they're not going to re-sign him. No contract extension talks.
Yeah.
If I was Kyrie, if it was KD, I'd be so mad. I mean, I understand they got Harden now, and he's with Harden. He's playing. He's going to play well with Harden. They're going to probably be one of the best teams in the league. But the Kyrie part, it's very frustrating. If I was Kevin Durant,
I think in terms of KD's legacy, this is his proving ground right now. If he can win a chip, and this is his team, this is not Harden's team, this is Kevin Durant's team. If he can win a chip right now, it's going to be more valuable than anything he did with the Warriors, anything he's done so far.
especially as the path he's got to go through.
Oh,
for the
yeah.
chip.
Yeah.
He's gone. This is a lot of adversity, just a lot of headache, a lot of outside stuff he has to deal with.
The East is good now, too.
And the East is good. Got
Gotta
to go through the Bucks.
The Sixers still with that. Sixers are still a good
Yeah,
team.
Celtics are still.
Celtics,
You run into the
Hawks,
Heat, could
Heat.
Yeah,
together.
Hawks. I mean,
Knicks still even. Knicks are
if
decent.
Kevin Durant can win a ring this year, I'd say this is the statement. This is his legacy right here.
Yeah,
This would be
yeah.
the most impressive thing he's done so far.
I'd agree with you on that. I think it's interesting how the narrative changes by such, like, not small changes, but it's interesting how you have him in the Warriors. You know, it's ruining his legacy. These aren't real rings.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Brooklyn initially with Kyrie, and I think most people are thinking, okay, this is a chance. If he wins a ring here, that's a legit ring.
Because it's
Is it
his
a legit
team.
ring though? Because
No, hold on. But then you bring in Harden. I think
Yes.
personally you go back to, okay, you need Harden and Kyrie in Brooklyn to win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're going right back to the Warriors, so now you've lost your opportunity to prove yourself. But now that Kyrie might be out this year and you win a ring with just him and Harden, that's still a very good duo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, is that ring more valuable than his Warriors ring?
I would say
Absolutely.
100%. 100%. It's his team. Harden's a scorer. He's not a leader like Kevin Durant is. When he was on the Warriors, that was Curry's team. Curry was the heart and soul. This is Kevin Durant's legacy. It really is, I think. This is going to be his ring. And
Yeah,
it's his statement to
it's
make.
definitely
Yeah.
way more valuable than a Golden State Warrior ring.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would agree with you. We're going to cut to some legal IDs and then finish up with a little bit more NBA, and then we will wrap it up for this week.
WXVU Villanova. Online at wxvu.villanova.edu, or also look for us on the Radio FX app.
Spread facts, not fear.
Did you know diseases can make anyone sick, regardless of their age, race, or ethnicity? Fear and anxiety about COVID-19 can cause people to avoid or reject others. Be kind.
This news you can use is brought to you by senior nursing students in the health promotion course at the Fitzpatrick College of Nursing, the Office of Health Promotion, and WXVU Villanova University Radio.
Feeling stressed from classes? Join Campus Ministry for a taste of mindfulness meditation on Mondays from 1 to 1:30 p.m. during the fall semester. Sessions will take place on Zoom. Contact Campus Ministry for more information. All right, so we covered the Nets. I think we got a lot of great conversation on Kevin Durant's legacy. We're big fans of Giannis. We looked at the Sixers a little bit. Any other teams? I guess there's one more team. Well, there's one more game tomorrow. The Lakers-Warriors. Two teams. They have very interesting paths. I think Stephen Curry has looked amazing in the preseason. the new rules.
Oh yes,
let's talk about the new rules. Because I think we've all seen the footage. We've heard them say it during the preseason games. I think we're all, as NBA fans, very happy for this. What do you guys think?
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's basketball now. It's not.
Which rules are we talking about, just to clarify?
Jumping into foul stuff. Oh my God. Seeing Trae Young do that over and over again, seeing Steph Curry do that.
James Harden.
Yeah, it's not basketball. It's a lot better now that they're not allowed to do that, and the refs just aren't calling it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's the way it should be.
It's getting closer to pick up basketball. It's getting closer.
It just promotes better basketball.
Yeah.
I still think they should allow them to play a little more aggressively on defense, like we saw in the Olympics. They were allowed to hand check each other a little on defense. I like that level of basketball a little better because it forces you to create space, make better shots, make better decisions instead of being bailed out. But NBA definitely stepped in the right direction.
I completely agree. And it's be interesting to see how these stars change their games a little bit. Like, I don't know if it's going to hurt some of these guys who rely a lot on free throws.
Trae Young.
Yeah.
Trae Young, Harden, all those guys. I think one of the great things about this is it is taking out a lot of non-basketball actions that, people are using. And I love how NBA, like the Refs Association or whatever it is, on Twitter posted videos of examples of what is now not going to, either A, not going to be called a foul, or B, is going to be called an offensive foul, right? So there's like jumping in, which is not going to be a foul. The kick on jump shots, which I think they posted a video of Devin Booker doing it, is going to be an offensive foul. And also they posted a lot of videos of Trae Young and Harden doing this. The hooking of the arm.
Hooking is horrible.
Yeah.
They posted a video of Harden hooking LeBron's arm. You can see LeBron's reaction. He's just like, what am I supposed to do here? And there was a little bit of a dark period in basketball when people were literally guarding Harden with their hands behind their back.
Or standing behind him.
Yes. Just so that he couldn't hook. Because it's such a non-basketball way of approaching a drive or an offensive possession to just, I'm going to, just put, as soon as you reach your hand out to try and, play good defense, I'm going to hook it and then just go up in a flailing motion like that's my shot. And that was basketball for a while, and I'm really happy that it's not going to be anymore.
But they need to take out, to next year, I think they're going to do this, the fast break, when guys have wide open fast breaks, just like the jersey snag. That needs to go too.
Are you talking about clear path?
They had the clear path foul a little bit, but certain situations, like 2-on-1.
2-on-1, they just foul the guy with the ball.
Yeah.
When it's just such an obvious scoring opportunity. They have no intention to play defense. They need to change that. But, step in the right direction for sure.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I guess back to the game that's happening tomorrow. I'm intrigued to see how the Warriors are going to play, and the Lakers, but the Warriors to play with Klay Thompson back healthy.
Yes.
Like, it's the first time in 2 years that we're back to a full Warriors team, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Klay Thompson, as we know, missed the last 2 games. Still, just tying it back to Kyrie Irving, has played more games than Kyrie Irving since they both got drafted in the same year, which is absurd.
Incredible.
But just echoing that, as fans, we just have to be excited to see the Splash Brothers back. I'm obviously excited to see the Lakers back, see what Russ can do. They both Russ and LeBron started off, and Anthony Davis too, started the preseason just terribly. I watched a couple of games. It was air balls, bad shots, just not playing good defense. And then the last couple of games, their chemistry was getting together. Russ and LeBron were kind of getting into their rhythms. AD's also missed a lot of time, so he's kind of getting his legs back. But I think this is just going to be a great. They're excited to start the game. I'm hoping it's 2 great games. Very excited for them tomorrow.
Should be a great night of basketball.
Yeah, so we'll have a lot to talk about next week, obviously. We're going to have a whole nother slate of NFL games. What round in the playoffs are we going to be in?
We're going to be in the World Series next week.
Will it have started?
It's either the end of the championship series, depending how far they go, and the World Series starting next week, Yeah.
So we'll have that. We'll have hopefully some NBA storylines. Shout out Chicago Sky for winning, bringing a championship for the first time.
Candace Parker. She's the GOAT.
Yeah, and I've got one last trivia question for you.
One more trivia question, Sean.
Here we go.
6 NBA franchises have never reached an NBA Finals.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can you name the 6? Actually, a fun fact before we start: there's 13 NBA teams who have never won a championship, which is ridiculously large number.
That is.
But 6 have never been to a finals.
Timberwolves
Timberwolves are one of the teams.
Yeah.
Kings?
Nope.
No, the Kings way back in the day.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Trying to think East. Hornets?
Hornets have not done it.
Pelicans?
Pelicans have not done it.
3.
Whoa, that counts.
3 of
Yeah,
the
that's
6.
right. 'Cause it's 2 now.
No, there's 3 of the 6. There's 3 more.
Yeah. No, I'm
He's
just saying
separating
Hornets
Hornets.
and Pelicans.
No, but he's
Yeah.
separating the two
Yeah.
franchises. Yeah.
So you got T-Wolves, Hornets, Pelicans. Who else in the East?
They're all West teams.
Oh,
really?
okay. I think that makes more sense.
Grizzlies?
Grizzlies have never
Yeah.
won one.
There
They've
we
never
go.
been to one.
God, I
Have
love
the
Collar Wills.
Nuggets been to a?
The Nuggets have not been to
Yeah, I was
Wow.
gonna say.
Last team.
Oh God, this is definitely like
Clippers, Los Angeles.
yes. Yes.
We're not huge Clipper fans.
Very
here,
happy
sure,
about
but,
that.
Yeah, we'll definitely no Kawhi for most of the year, so that's going to be an interesting storyline. We'll talk about it next week. This has been fun in the locker room with me, Sean, and Liam. Tune back in next week, 4 p.m. Monday. We're going to have a great show. See you guys later.